All right, my friends, here we are. This beautiful thing. Actually, you can hear this is just what I was doing before. I posted. Bring this mic a little closer. I posted. I posted there the Irwood U.S. Senior Open. Irwood Senior. That's going to be me late July. I think Chris Kostya and some other dojoers going to join me in some of that stuff. Maybe also the U.S. Open. I'll see people there. Beautiful thing. I won the U.S. Open. Last time I played it was a while ago, but I won. That was the last time I qualified for the U.S. Championship. In any case, now I'm trying to qualify for the U.S. Senior Closed, and I've been working, my friends. It's hard. It's hard for me. I get up in the morning. I try to do some studying for myself before Discord and all kinds of before Kostya starts waking me up, tingling at me, saying, "Kraai, get up, do this, do that." I'm sorry, Kostya. I don't even have avocado toast, man. I get up, I do my chess. I try to. I don't always get there, but I try. Pepper chess is in there. Great. Now, you can see we have a monster show here today. Normally, we would have about 5 or 6, let's say 3 to 6 people at the graduate show. But the reason this is going on is actually kind of good news for the dojo. What's happening is people who were kind of lackadaisically involved with the scoreboard, with their own graduation, are now graduating because they see the new website and they're into it and they're like, let's go. So it's a beautiful thing. And what I'm expecting is that maybe next week's show will be a little hectic too, but basically it should come back to a normal rhythm, which for the show I think is good because I want to spend more time, than I can, obviously, with 11 people. I will also do tomorrow a show. That's my intention anyway, and that will be 1,500 plus. Whew, look at this show here, my friends. Look at this show. Katernak has subscribed. 19-month streak. There we go. Have I thought of doing an already reviewed check feature on the 2.0 games? Well, that would be interesting. I'll tell you, we got a lot of things. It's funny. Jack is the one driving the tech side, and we have asked him to do so many things. And that dude has just been delivering thing and thing again. I start feeling guilty adding more and more things. But I'll tell you, like every day, somebody comes up with a good idea. And then, we're like, well, Jack, get on that, buddy. And for the most part, he is bringing it, man. There's very little that he can't do. Okay, so let's get into it. I bring over your big old list here, buddy. I got this big old list. There's going to be aspects of this that are a little unwieldy, but we're going to get into it here. So, all right. First, we're going to go. We're going to go recent. And then here's the recent ones from the past week. And I'm hoping everybody's still there. It's a less little dots than normal, so hopefully everyone in. But definitely Stephens Lee is one of the people on my list for today. But first I was supposed to do J.S. Niche. This is hard, see what I'm saying? All right, let's go forward and see if I find big old J.S. Niche. He should be coming up here. Oh, see, there's new people. But anyways, there's J.S. Niche. And as you can see, J.S. Niche has done some endgame, some tactics, has gained some on the chess.com. All right, let's check it out. Activity. Beautiful. Doing a lot of endgame. Let's click. Bang. The algorithm, Silman endgame. Beautiful. And we go back. So basically, no games analysis, 31 dojo point score. But however, buddy, this is their old one. Let's see here. This is actually this is correct. So actually what we need to do is we need to see what they did here. So this is J.S. Niche's breakdown for what they did to achieve the 1,000 barrier, which I think is psychologically really important. And the videos I did ages ago about how to reach a given level, I said, and this seemed to be true, it seems still to be true, that to break out of 1,000, you have to stop hanging stuff. You'll still hang some stuff after 1000. But that's like the big thing. And that's why we introduced the blunder games. We just want people to again and again play reps where they're just focused, not on hanging stuff. Okay, so let's take a look then at if there's any games for JS Niche. There we go. And we can see it's Jason Nicholson. That's how we got this. Let's go. Let's look at Jason Nicholson's game. All right. So, knight f3, e4. Okay. Interesting move. I looked at this ages ago. I think there's some name for this gambit. Fine. Where it's weird is that you dislocate your knight, right? But in any case, let's just look. Okay, obviously, let's just call that a poor move with e6. And the simplest thing you could now do is take on f5. And it would be a very nice position if you take on f5. Here, I don't like it as much because dude could play fe, knight e4, and d5. ef5, brilliant. ef5, bishop c4. Incorrect because you're going to get whacked by d5, right? So I agree with the notes here. Very good notes. d4 would have been better. And basically, let me just talk about the dream of Federico with the f-pawn. When black plays this, what they should imagine is that eventually they want this pawn to move so that the rook will be active and the bishop will be active. That's the dream. It's a long-term crazy dream. It's a dumb dream. It's not the best dream. There are better dreams. In any case, though, if we achieve this position, well, now that f-pawn isn't no longer moving. And if dude could go back, well, it should. He should just go back. It's, admit your mistake, Baus. It's okay. Okay, so we lost time. Bishop e2, d4. Frisky. Now, this is, in my eyes, too much because you're now going to weaken this diagonal here for black. Okay. Castle, please. Ooh, I don't like it. Okay. Why don't I like it? Because the knight's kind of annoying where it is, and black will probably have to play a6. So, Jason, now that you've reached the next level, 1000 plus, tempo is going to be the main thing they give you. They'll give you pieces sometimes too, but tempo is what they're going to be giving you all the time. And you're giving away tempo here with knight a3. Castles is a great move. Let's play rook e1. Let's go after him. a6 is going to have to happen anyway. Okay. Notice how I like castles because that will keep you the option of bishop c4 and this beautiful diagonal. Castle, please. Very good. Okay. Rook e1, please, or d3. Good. Yeah. Okay. h6. What are they doing? Giving you time, boss. Giving you time. Yeah. I don't know if I'd call it lazy, but right, he's terrified. He's terrified of some kind of knight g5. And now we'll say, rook e1's the best. Did you do it? Oh, bishop f4. It's okay. You're developing. a6. So see, from there, maybe this is a fine move, a6, but from black's perspective, he's just not concerned with time, whereas you're now going to get the e file and that beautiful e5 square. By the way, bishop f4 definitely incorrect because you're setting yourself up for a later knight d5, right? So definitely rook e1 first. Oh, no! Oh, no! Terrible, just terrible. Because so much was building over e5, a simple lap in judgment allowed for the inevitable fork. These are great notes, by the way. The only thing I would ask for the notes is put a question mark. You make a mistake, put a question mark. This one, we could even call a double question mark. To me, the double question mark is when the game totally turns. Okay. All right, so here we're going to see if Jason can make a comeback here. Notice that at least we got our bishop in that beautiful spot. All right, rook e1. Very good. That doesn't seem right. queen d2. That's at least a well-considered move. Oh, can we play bishop h6? Oh, I think we can, bows. Maybe it's not so simple, buddy. Okay, so you played here. And the problem with that is king h7 will be a question. g5, this guy goes loco. What's he doing? Pop, pop. Now he's got a question. He says, I'm going to answer it this way. You say, give me all your business. Queen e1. I didn't know whether to take with the queen or the rook, but I figured that if black's queen takes on b2, I could hit it with my rook. Okay, so the problem with all this is rook e8 should happen by black. And then no one knows what we're doing, right? No one knows what we're doing. Now, let's go back a second, because black really did give you some nice chances here. So what is, queen b6 is too much, because dude's queen needs to be somewhere near her man, and she's gone. And now we have some good force count against the black position. Here's a nice variation. Pop, pop, pop. Oh, wait, can I just say something? Wait. All hail Jack Stenglein. Look what dude did. It does it. It works now. Before I complained. Let's just pause here for a second. Yesterday, I was like, Jack, dude, I need to be able to make variations, and other people do too, but without it saving. I don't want to, change Jason's annotations, right? And so I just want to be able to move the pieces around the board. Boom! Look what happened. We got it, Baus. We got it. Nice. Nazgulis, thank you for subscribing. 35 months. Nice. Mom Badev is Stefan's Lee. Mine is a little lacking as well in my graduation, as a range of books had been removed in the version 2 version. I'm not sure quite what that means, but... So here we go. Queen h6. What was my point? Knight h7 and then knight e5 exclam. Dude's queen is pinned. And what's going to happen? We're going to waste him with either knight g6 or knight f7 next move. Welcome to the dojo. That's right. So here you did have a comeback. And why does it happen? Because black is not aware of the potential problems and is doing crazy stuff in the spirit of this move, g5. A little much. All right. So, by the way, this move looks very dangerous too, because your lady's getting in. Your lady's getting in, and it's very similar to the last variation, actually. It's very hard to see how dude is getting out of there. It looks to me like we're just crushing him. Okay, yeah, so this is actually, it looks logical, but it's a mistake, because now you trade off, and you don't have anything. And now rook e8 should happen, but he falls for your trick. Good move. Fancy. Fancy. They should have done that before, but all right. King f1. All right, we're getting serious now. Check to the miserable king. Oh, he just goes up. Oh, it's a pin and win. There we go, I guess. Look at that. He thought, now black thought he could take on h2. You just lost your piece, Baus. Just lost your piece. Yeah. Good notes. These are really good notes. Thank you. Thank you for all your business. No, you cannot. No one knows what that is. Check to the miserable king. There we go, Baus. There's a comeback. There's a comeback. Beautiful. We're going to feature that game. Great annotations. So JS Niche cruising. Oh, you know what I'm going to do too? So I did the cohort games up to 1,000. And so I'm going to just feature this later. I'm not sure. The idea is to get 5 cohort games per cohort, and I'm just looking for great annotations. This is one of them. This is one of them. All right, beautiful, you guys. Let's move on. I can't spend that long on every game. Thankfully, not all of these people are going to have a game to look at. All right, so next up, we have Juicy C. He's right in the middle somewhere. Let's go look if we can find Juicy C. Juicy C, where'd you go, buddy? There's Wood JRX, Sombrero. Ernesto's coming up. Elysion. Juicy C. There's Juicy C. Pop! All right, let's look. So Juicy C, we're going to look, also was over here, did a lot of work. But one of the things that's cool about the dojo score is it really gives me a sense of the level of work. And I think in these lower cohorts, about 75 is what we're saying that you need to graduate. You know, that's about roughly what it's going to take. You know? Okay. Which is a lot of work. That's definitely a lot of work. This is a very, this is our food pyramid. This will be pretty well balanced. Food pyramid is BS, by the way. This is not BS. This is the real thing. This is the balanced diet you need, my friend. Let's click around a little bit. Endgames. Algorithm, good. Tactics. Ooh, look at that beautiful breakdown. Beautiful breakdown. Okay, now let's go look at games. Oh, we got some. Juicy C. Let's click one. Now, uploaded by Juicy C. We're just going to try to surmise who is who. Oh, this is a good opening. Up to this point is all theory that I studied in advance of the game. The A6 move was not obvious to me in my research. It is a key move that prevents some sharp tactics by white moving to B5. Okay, so Juicy C is black. And let's talk about this. This is a rant I do every single show. Studying the openings at this level is not allowed by the dojo, number one. Number two, you're studying this thing and then you don't entirely understand the move A6. And so we're at a level you shouldn't be at. It's not helpful. So let's say that it would, I'm not going to go deep, but the reason for this A6 move is that here, if knight F6, E5 is a variation. Why am I talking like this? If you were to go deep into the theoretical knowledge, let's say if you hit 1400, then you're allowed to know why this is a problem for black. But otherwise, then you don't know why you played A6, and it's controversial, A6 is, because you're not developing your stuff. Okay, so this is a mistake, and what white is doing is confusing. White is confusing the position that could have arisen here. Okay, so DE5, Queen E2. Now that looks basically white has blown it. White has entirely blown it. Okay, Queen C7, Knight G5. Terrible move. Just E6, doing nothing. Just trading off, doing nothing. Good move. Doing nothing. Loss of time. Now, B5 is a little frisky. Nothing terribly wrong with it, but there's no reason to kick that thing right away, whereas priority number one has to be to castle. Holy moly, here you come. The truth is, you're doing great. Okay, so this is a result of all the frisky stuff you got, is that at least white gets a little tap on your queen. White is playing some nasty moves, man. He's just going around and around. Okay, C8, fine. Beautiful, okay. Now, okay, I was just, my mind was trailing off on rook takes C5, whether we could pin that thing. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. There we go. Checkmate. Checkmate. Now, Juicy C, that's pretty good. Now, I yelled at you for the opening. And I think what I would do if I was coaching white is I would yell at white too. You know, I'd be like, boss, what are you doing? So let me tell you what happens. And this happens to GMs too. Let's say you go dark and you go deep into the openings. Your mind will get confused about what you're supposed to do. So for example, in this position, white plays this move thinking it's this position. It is not the same position, my friend. And I could go deep into the reasons why, but that's not necessary for the point I'm trying to make. It's not helpful, right? For either of these players to gone deep into this situation. Okay, what should white have done, of course? I should have played queen e2. All right. Okay, great, dude. Juicy C, you're doing great here, man. This is great. All right, let's go back. Let's go to our next person. Who do we got? We got Stephens Lee. And I know where to find Stephens Lee, my friend. He's at the very beginning. So, you can look here, a little bit of everything. And what we gotta do is go back and look at this one, 25. Now, it's a little bit, you know, now that people are transferring over, I don't know how much credence to give this, but let's just say it was 25. If you have a cohort score of 25 and you graduated, that means you're like flying. You will probably graduate again soon. 75 is more like, you know, I'm not at a plateau yet, but I'm, you know, we're gonna be getting there soon. 25, you're just flying up, Stefan. That's my general takeaway. Look at that beautiful time breakdown. Mostly tactics. Fine. Okay. Now remember, this is what Stefan did to graduate to the 1100 cohort. Let's see if we got some games. No games. Okay. Good. Let's move on then to the next one. And the next one we got Ernesto. Let's go check out Ernesto. I believe I saw Ernesto over here. Yes, niche, Woodjarix, sombrero, Ernesto. Pop. Okay, Ernesto. This is our 1100, 1200. And we'll go activity. And we're going to look. So let me just say, people in this week are transferring their stuff over. So Ernesto graduated 1100, 1200. I assume on the last Google Doc we were using, that was our scoreboard. We would have been able to see all the stuff that Ernesto did. Now we're just seeing the stuff that Ernesto has done moving forward, which is fine. Some people, and it's really cool, have logged what they did from the last cohort, and that allows this pull-down menu where you can see the stuff you did below you, you know, when you were in the lower cohorts. And other people can see it too, which is fascinating for somebody like me. All right, let's take a look if Ernesto has some games. We got some. This is Gerald Ernesto. Bop. And this is Ernesto playing black. We're going to flip it around. Getting in the swing of annotation. Now, here's an interesting thing. I haven't looked at the annotation yet, but when we did the under 1000 show yesterday, what was really stunning was the lack of time spent on the moves. Right? We were seeing dudes play really complex decisions in like 10 seconds. And something I said there was this simple way to improve for these people is just to slow down. It sounds easy, but first of all, there's kind of a weird social pressure to move quickly. But also, if your system 2 thinking, long thinking, hasn't been trained up, your mind will just kind of do knee-jerk reactions instead of being able to breathe and focus on what's going on in the position. Okay, so here we go. E4, we're going to check out the times here. My intuition, my suspicion is that as we go up in the cohorts, we're going to see people moving, taking longer to move. And as per dojo requirements, you have to play longer and longer time controls as you move up the ladder. All right, here we go. You're doing fine. Okay, in general, maybe bishop g4 makes a little bit more sense to mess with the knight. Check to the miserable king. Okay, fine. Fine. Now, actually, let me just say, I'm suffering a moment of terror here because I'm wondering, would knight e5 have wrecked you? And it looks like a wrecking situation because you come here and then pop. And then this guy's going to get wrecked, and then this dude's going to get wrecked. Problemito and casito, as we say in Espanol, So this is why back here I'm inclined to play bishop g4. So just for for future, notice that in general, yes, we want the bishop outside the pawn chain, but there is a danger associated with that. So, in fact, in this position, e6 is incorrect. Notice how fast the dude played it. And we need to be doing something like a6 to immediately relieve the pin, or knight f6, right? So that our bishop is still in contact. And we can always, the bishop's just a pesky fool over there, honestly. He can be kicked away. Okay, so let's look. e6, white blows it. Notice white is not thinking at all. Not at all. Now, imagine, one of the great things about watching this show and looking at other people's annotations is, am I doing it? Right? And then you see like, oh, right. Even if these people are much more talented than me, I just have to do one simple task. I have to learn how to think a little slower. That's it. Good move. Fine. And notice now that the bishop is caged on b3. He went from a hero on b5 to just a total chump, right? I now have a great space advantage and my knights are coordinated. The c file is open for my a rook. I now aim to finish developing a castle with knight f6 and b to either e7, d6, then castle. Future knight jump to e4. Yeah, great, dude. Now notice, Ernesto, just notice, boss, how little you're thinking during the game, dog. You're thinking more here than you are during the game. Okay, weird move. It's the second time we've seen lazy in an annotation. I guess we could call it lazy. Yeah. Now notice at a higher level, one of the things I talk about, let's say these people were 1600, I would say, bows, you need to be thinking about this knight. It's dominated. And so one plan could be pop, pop, and pop, just to fix your business, right? Good, I'm loving this. Beautiful. 94. Now, this is a mild inaccuracy because the knight on c3 is a chump. Like, that thing's dominated, not going anywhere. You said it best earlier. You said the rook goes to c8. There you go, bows. And then from there, you can do all kinds of things. But definitely first, we just want to start with rook c8. No one knows why I let you take there. Now, one of the games to memorize, I believe, that we have is Winter Capablanca, like 1919 or something like that. And there, the bishop is on g3, but a similar pawn structure. And then the amazing thing to say about this now is that you are positionally winning because this bishop no longer has a way to participate in the game. So you can claim that you are up a piece. Well, thank you very much. Frisky. Okay. Opponent claimed they misclicked, but I think I had a winning position even before this. Yeah. Now, this is wrong for 1,000 different reasons. Even if queen takes d5 weren't there, there's rook takes c2, right? Thank you very much. Rook c2, the white's just oblivious to the problems in life. Ah, it's beautiful. Nice and simple play. There you go, bows. Check to the miserable king. I felt like this was the best card I've played in a while. I kept everything solid and exploited mistakes methodically. Nice confidence builder to start the new dojo level. That's what I like to see. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Chess for Coffee likes the dojo shows, the Dojo Grad shows. You know what I like? I like drinking coffee and doing the dojo shows. It's just a nice combination. Let's feature this game for Ernesto, and I'm going to make a little note. Maybe we'll put that in one of the model games. Now, let me just stress something about the model games. The model games do not mean that you were the greatest annotation ever or something like that. it just means that I feel like you thought deeply about what's going on, and maybe even some of the mistakes you made were typical of where you're at. So, for example, here, both in the analysis and during the game, you missed that 95 could have really put the hurt on you. More importantly, though, you have the disease. You have the disease, my friend. The move too fast-itis right here. And this guy, your opponent, does too, right? Yeah. All right, beautiful. Let's move on. We got Oberlis Chinaski. Oberlis, I have a game from him in as a model game already. So I've looked at one of Oberlis's games in an earlier show. It was this hunt for the model game show. Now I'm worried, my friends. I'm worried here. So wait, I might have to go on a different look. There's Kyle the Chemist. Kyle the Chemist is coming up soon. But where's Oberlis, boss? I think I'm gonna have to go to the scoreboard to find Oberlis. So I go here, and then I go Oberlis 11 1200. Look, I go dojo score fap, and then Oberlis. There it is. Pop. All right, so there's the activity, and we're going to look what Oberlis did here. 119. Let me tell you, my friends, that is what we call work, okay? That is work right there. And the games and analysis, a lot of it. Fantastic. I love it, dude. And some endgame. Silman endgame algorithm. I'm loving it, dude. This is some good work. 119. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Oberlis, I know, has some games. I might have already looked at this one. I'm going to just click on it. Let me just look. Sometimes Pepper Chess laughs at me because I've already done it. I believe I have done this. Yeah, we've looked at this. Okay, so actually, if you're interested in this game, I did a model hunt for, it's on the VOD. It's called Hunt for Model Games. I don't know if those are going to get put onto our YouTube, but in any case, it is there if you're interested in me talking about this game. Oberlis is on his way. It'll be really interesting, actually, if we go back a second. You can see that Oberlis is working hard. Already here, he's got 53 points in this one, right? So one of the things that's interesting, but when I see 119, is I'm seeing like, oh, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, and hopefully laying the foundations for future growth in addition to just making it to the next level. And I really like to see this games and analysis here where he's got it all, dude. He's got the annotated games, the games played, the postmortems. Fantastic, man. There we go. Okay, good. That's Oberlis. Now we got Kyle the Chemist. Why don't we just go back to this one, and we're going to be able to find Kyle the Chemist. Help me if you see Kyle the Chemist. He's in here somewhere. Yo, Kyle, where'd you go, buddy? Oh, no. Oh, no. Where's Kyle the Chemist? Oh, he's in here somewhere, Baus. Am I missing it? Where's Kyle the Chemist, Baus? There's Ernesto. Somebody help me. Kyle the Chemist is lost. Tell you what. Go back to the... Try this one for Kyle the Chemist. And then I might be at a loss. So Kyle the Chemist. I don't know what happened to Kyle, dude. I don't know what happened. I'll tell you what, I'm going to look at one thing, and we're going to go search by player, and I'm going to say, Kyle, I hope I'm spelling his name right, the Chemist. Search. No. Okay, Kyle, if I missed you, Baus, I apologize, and I am going to try to get to you next time. Let's go look. I'm going to begin here at the scoreboard. It's a little bit easier for me maybe to find people. Here's 1,200, 1,300. We're going to be looking for MTC. Dojo score, please. Pop, pop, pop. There he is. Now, one cool thing about MTC here, he's graduated. Already done 55. We got some people doing it, man. We got some people doing it. And that's their current breakdown, but we want to see how they got here. 99 total dojo score. Good food pyramid action going on here. Let's click on endgame. Ah, there it is, the Silman endgame in the algorithm. Beautiful. Let's click on middle game strategy. Nice, dude. This is really looking really solid. Okay, and then going, let's see, and then going forward, we got mostly endgame. Let's click on this one. Pop. Oh yeah, working on the Silman endgame. Beautiful, dude. Beautiful. Okay, and then let's see if we got a game from MTC. We don't. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing more of MTC. MTC's doing it. And as we said, 99, basically 100 points of dojo score to get here. Okay, let's go look then at Michael Darmousset. And this is 12 to 13. I'll go dojo score. I'm going to try to get the default setting. We'll ask Jack to do this. The default setting to set it from dojo score top to bottom. Every day we come up with little small details, but I think it's important. It's like, right, you land here, makes a lot of sense that the dojo score should be the main thing that, filters this list. Okay, Darmousset, where'd you go, buddy? There he is. Pop. All right, let's go look. And so we're going to go, ooh, look at this. Michael's graduated quite a bit, Baus. He's graduated quite a bit. And so I don't know. Some of these graduations, I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. In any case, dude did 28 points in the previous cohort. Mostly endgame stuff. Let's give it a click. Algorithm, okay. No game annotation, so we're probably not going to find anything by Michael. Okay, let's take a look. No. All right, cool. Now, the next person is a hero of the dojo, Phigius. So let me just tell a brief story about the dojo. It's something I only realized like within the last week. And I talked a little bit about it in the video that I just did. That came out on our YouTube channel. So what I realized was the first year of the dojo was really all about early adopters. And I'm not an early adopter. I know this. I don't buy the new technology. New technologies are weird, man. They take a lot more effort to learn, and there's weird stuff, you got to get accustomed to. Whereas the later technologies, everything's just smooth, So it's the early adopters who really helped us build the site. And I hadn't put it into my mind that way, right? And anyways, what am I driving at? Phigius, whose games we're going to look at right here, was one of the people that really helped us with the old Google Doc that was the scoreboard, right? And it was like magic. It was magic, the things that they were doing. We did this all in a Google Doc, my friends. And the Google Doc, for example, that was one thing you kind of had to learn. Whereas here, it's pretty basic that, like me as a boomer GM, I didn't have to really learn anything to get this done. Okay, let's look, 11, 1200. Oh, yeah. Phigius did some good work, dude. Games analysis. Let's pop this. Nice. Games played, annotated, postmortems. Beautiful. And let's click middle end game. The Silman. Nice. And we'll click the tactics. Beautiful. Okay. Let's see if Phigius has a game for us. Nice. Yes, sir. Okay. Let's go. All right. So Phigius is black. A fairly even game throughout the opening and early middle game. Black overlooks a queen infiltration, which allows white to collect some important pawns and enter a winning late middle game. Themes: minor piece trading, outposted knight, pressure on an isolated pawn. Oh, great, dude. Great. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a highfalutin move. I think people call this the Yanowski or something like that. Let's just say it's highfalutin. Is Phigius allowed to learn this yet? No. No. At 1200, by the way, you are allowed to learn a defense to e4, but nothing beyond that. And no one listens to me in that regard. And then so they end up doing fancy moves like a6. Okay. Now let's just say you didn't know anything, right? If you knew nothing about openings, you would play on a level of principle, you would play bishop e7 or bishop b4. You could think about other things, but those would be the principled moves, right? And both of those are great. This is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to learn openings, right? Especially not at this level. A6 is a super highfalutin move. Okay, we could talk forever about what it's about. Pop, pop, pop. Bishop e7. Okay. Where am I here? Where am I in this annotation? C5. Right. So, I think yeah. So one of the things that's even complicated about the move a6, okay, is some, I was going to call him a snot nose, but that's not really fair. Some snot nose figured out about 100 years ago that the move a6 would be potentially useful even in this position, with the notion that, especially if white plays for a minority attack, then the a6 pawn is already there to greet our friend coming up the board. Highfalutin, you know. If you don't know that, though, about the move a6, you might not, your mind, I think, might rebel against playing c6. It looks like there's all those dark square weaknesses over there on that side of the board. Makes sense. Okay, so c5, and now white goes for it with this move. And I'm not fully convinced the way the white did it. White took on f6. Phigius is doing better than his opponent in terms of time. So the reason I'm not sold on whether this is correct is you do give up your powerful bishop when you do this. And I have a feeling black might get reasonable play. So maybe you could have, I don't know about this yet, but maybe you could have considered pop, 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 with the intention that pop, pop, and you cannot recapture GF because of bishop h7. That would be, if I was white, that would be my attempt to crack. I would have to look at it, and that would be my attempt to crack black down. This, what white chooses here, by giving black this monster bishop, I have my suspicion is that black should have enough play because the bishop is so strong. We'll see. That wasn't it, though. I don't like that. So now maybe it's a hard life, Kraai, you know. Maybe you got to give up the ghost. Maybe black is just worse. In any case, I would be interested in the move knight c6, and then I would be afraid of knight d5, but then the party goes on because I take, and we split the pawns, and I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. It looks like I might get my business back, right? It's clearly complicated, right? Phigius says, haha, the idea is to prepare b5. No, no, Phigius, I'm trying to tell you, boss, this is a very deep move, and it has the idea, yes, to do this in some variations, but also to what I just described, that it will slow down the potential minority attack when you get the Carlsbad structure, which is here. This is a Carlsbad structure. Okay, so pop, 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 pop. And now you'd lost your beauty. So now white will be better. Maybe not much better. Now we have a choice for you. You played queen a5. Knight d7 comes to mind as well. Yeah. Just so that we can take on c5. So queen a5. And I'm not sure about queen c2. I'm not 100% of a fan of this move. It would make a lot of sense to me to just castle. And then I'm assuming we would take this one. And then the game would go on, but white has the lead in development, right? Okay, so pop. So the danger is, especially if we had played knight d7, c5, that we can organize, we being black, a nice counterattack on the c file. Black gets the pawn back, but at the cost of some tempi. On the other hand, black has almost caught up in development. Okay. The other thing we should mention is that your bishop is not great because it's blocked in by your pawn. And one of the cool things about knight here is that if we molest this bishop away, we can dream about gaining this diagonal for our bishop. Okay, so rook a b1, b5. I don't like it. Yeah. So, by the way, I want to say you're doing much better than your cohort in thinking about what's happening. It's a difficult position, and white probably is a little bit better. Personally, I'd be interested in the setup with knight a5, bishop d7, and rook c8. That way I can ask white a question. On b5, I'm concerned that a4 is going to hit me someday. In fact, like right now. What would happen if h4? Your opponent plays h3, okay, not a dumb move. And then kind of goes passive here with rook fc1. a4 at some point really is like the way to try to hurt you. Rook fc1 isn't it, right? Another attempt could be knight d4, but if they're going to do knight d4, there's no reason for them to be playing h3. Right? So let's just say that what happened here, from white's perspective, is white kind of lost the thread here, right? So especially after b5, like white has just a smidge of an opening lead, and white has to do something with it pronto before it goes away. It's not going to last forever, right? All right, so pop. Okay, good. Queen d6. I just want to say I kind of like queen a3 so that if we get popped with rook b3 and then move away, then our knight comes in here with tempo. Our knight really likes this trampoline, square knight a5. It's a word I learned from Tal. To trampoline into the position and to open up our c file for our rook. Okay. Good. Now white desperately needs to do something like a4. Okay. Let's read what you write. The outposted knight is better than the bishop here. White's bishop isn't that grand. With black's pawns and the light squares. White should have been more willing to trade their bishop than their knight. And let's just say it's hard. White's put himself into a situation where dude doesn't know what to do anymore. And if dude doesn't do anything, you have a simple plan of going something like this, right? And then you're eventually going to be better. Black's play is more simple. So if there's a virtue to taking, it's that you have to now decide how to recapture. And I like your variation here where you're saying fe and then e4. I agree. That's the question. That's the question. And that looks like it's better for white. You know, it really does. You say knight c4, ed5, ed5. The reason I would say white is better here is because his king is better. So a natural move here would be rook e1. You know, and I definitely would say white is better here. Jack, can I just thank you again? This is so cool that I'm allowed to make moves now on this board. That's fantastic, dude. That's fantastic. Okay, so queen e6. Now white needs a good idea. I had a feeling they were going to do that. Okay. That doesn't make sense to me. I anticipated an endgame approaching and thought that I should get my king into the center of the board. It didn't occur to me that this would allow the queen to enter via h6. Well, no, no, oh, h7, I think is what you mean. Right. Okay. So, what would be the correct path? Definitely some kind of doubling on the c file. Like rook c5 makes a lot of sense, followed by this move. White, in turn, needs to be thinking about knocking you open with a4. So king f8. In general, we should also say white is obliged to open the position. I don't want. Let's keep the fancy word obliged to ourselves, and we'll say, should be thinking about opening the position. Bishop b3. Knight c4. Good. And I agree with your evaluation too. Yeah. White in general has just been doing like a sitting game. They're not trying to do much. Rook d1, okay. Rook c5. Notice, the rook kind of wants to be there without the knight in the way. Knight a5. Okay. And then I'm assuming, right, you miss queen h7. And then we got to say rook takes c3 is a blunder. But let's pause for a second because we need to ask, really, how bad is this position? I don't think you have several thoughts here that lead me to think maybe you're not completely toast. Okay? Rook c3, you're definitely in big trouble. Well, let's give your move a try. You trade. I think it's wise. Your queen's going to get sidelined, though. That's a bummer, isn't it? So let's just say this is an instructive situation that you should try to remember. You'll get it again and again. That when you have heavy endgame, some people call this a middle game, it's fine. When you have a heavy middle game like this, heavy just means rooks and queens, the value of the king's position skyrockets. If there were some minors on the board, you might actually have a chance to hold this together. But with the heavies, it's just like, oh man, getting ripped open. So I think you're probably toast here, but if I was going to make a recommendation, it would be this move, queen g6. And we're tapping this guy, and we're praying that they go into the endgame with up a pawn. We're praying. That endgame up a pawn, we have a chance to hold this one. I think we're toast. Okay, so pop, pop, pop. Check to the miserable king. White has a choice. g3. Now, they could have also played rook f4, and that looks really hard to me. Rook f4 does. g3. By the way, let's just say white is criminal in that they're moving through this really quickly. Where did they think, though? There was a couple moments they actually must have thought because their time is decreasing a little bit. Okay. Reasonable. So made no sense, right? By the way, so one of the things you'll see once we go above 1,000 here is people will hang stuff less, but they will hang tempi all over the place. So you can see here, rook f4, g3 lost the tempo. And in the other variation, I don't know how black really defends. Now black can at least scooch up next to the pawn, right? Queen d4, rook c8. So this position, I would say, is still strategically lost for black, but we have chances. e4, good move. Rook d8. That's kind of a cold move right there. That's a cold move. Oh, that's cold. And now we're just, oh, dang. Take it easy, Bows. Take it easy. Okay, so your opponent, after playing like a chump, the first couple of series of moves, like up to move 20, finally he got angry at you. What'd you do to upset him, dog? What'd you do to him, Phineas? What did you do, man? I took the knight with the bishop because I wanted to give white an isolated pawn. Malachi, I'm not sure what your question is. What setup is he using? Just saw it. Okay. Good annotations. Great annotations. Okay. Let's actually just think about this for a second. So, I feel like you're using a too fancy opening, and that leads to this mistake. But then your opponent gives you the unopposed dark square bishop, and here, maybe even what you did is good enough for equality. You know, it might well be. But I like knight d7 better. And also, here I don't really like queen c2. And here knight d7, c5. And then here I like knight a5. But here I just want to stress, what your opponents are going to do at this level is they're going to do a little bit what this guy did, which is he doesn't drop pieces for the next couple of moves, but he just kind of sits passively, right? Now, one of the interesting things about this guy, right, is what is true. And actually, what am I saying? This guy, CBGGH, this dude is also in the dojo, big time. So, not just some random dude. But clearly what we're going to see later is even though CB, let's just call him CB, plays some waffling moves here, later, oh man, some real skills displayed in the finish of the game. Okay, beautiful. Let's feature this game. And actually, what's so cool about me featuring is then later I can grab it after the stream is over and add it if I need to the cohort model games. So that was really good, dude. I think you should be proud of the annotations, though, Figures. This is good. These are good annotations. All right, who we got next? Arf, arf, arf. Arf, arf, arf. Let's go to the scoreboard. 14-15. Dojo score, pop, pop. Let's find arf, arf, arf. You know, some of these people make up these names just so that they can hear me on stream saying something like arf, arf, arf. Okay. Activity, and we're going to go down. No, we don't have that. So arf, arf, arf has done some reasonable work with 32 points. Done some Polgar mates in 2. Fantastic. And let's just click on tactics. Mates in 2, mates in 3. Good. And we'll click on endgame. Silman part 3 in the algorithm. Beautiful. Okay, Arf, do you have any games for us? Not yet. Okay. So, beautiful, man. Well done. And now we got one more, and that's Kaiser Salat. Kaiser Salat. So, boop. Boop. And now, oh, and you know what else? Dude, Jack is a hero. So yesterday when I was doing the stream, I believe when I went back, when I did a little back thing, it went to, it like defaulted to my cohort and then I had to navigate. I don't know. I think that's my memory of this. Anyways, now we're just cruising right in here. And we're going to be looking for Kaiser Salad here. Let me know if you see Kaiser. Where's Kaiser? There he is. Kaiser Salad. Pop. And we got some activity. Nice. Okay, so Kaiser Salad is new here to this cohort. And like I said, I think a lot of people are migrating over and they're not putting all their points from their last cohort that they did, which is fine. You don't have to do it. It's just kind of cool to see what one did to do it. Now you can see it's graduated 1,400 dojo score 0. That just means dude graduated himself and didn't bother to transfer the deets, which is fine, right? Let's see if we get a game from Kaiser Salad. No game. Okay, my friends. Beautiful. Oh, I kind of cruised through that. I'm going to spend more time on the games in future shows. I was amazed I got through 11 there. And to finish up, what I'd like to do is do a little bit on my profile because I'm realizing there's some questions about how to do certain things. And I want to just see if I'm losing my mind on one question. Okay, so let's go progress. And let's just, for example, say games and analysis. And then I want to look at review with minus. Now, okay, I'm going to say edit requirement. Wait a second, this is confusing. What I wanted to do was counts by cohort. Holy moly, man. Oh, dude, this just got more intense actually than it used to be. So, for example, I do want to log in my the things that I do with the time breakdown. So, for example, going over other people's games. Now I'm confused because there was a note in the Discord about like somebody was saying, how do I edit the time? But I think maybe that we lost that ability here. So hold on. I'm going to ask Jack about that too. So that was one thing I wanted to ask. And I think as well, like if I go, let's say openings, let's say click on this one. I say edit requirement. Yeah, because before I was able to edit the amount of time spent on this. So for example, I've got a system against E4, for example, but I do some work on it either by redoing the files, checking some stuff, maybe doing some stuff on Chessable, but I want to add more time even if I say it's complete, right? Okay. The guy in Discord, this is Zondebach, wanted to put time in a non-completed task that requires just a checkbox, not a progress bar. Well, right, and this is what I'm trying to say, though, is that previously I went into something like this and I was able to add time to something I already did. In the same way he wanted to do something that was just a checkbox. In a sense, I've already checked this off, right? And I wanted to add time to it. Right, I'm an admin. So the only thing that an admin can do, by the way, is I can feature games, and in the calendar, I can add dojo-wide events. That's the extent of my power. But maybe my power will grow. I don't know. That's all it means at the moment, though. Okay. So, my friends, I'm going to end it there. I got vids to make, dude. We got to make some vids promoting the dojo. If you know somebody who's ready, who's not an early adopter, right, but is ready for this smooth, beautiful site, ready to improve their chess, tell them about it. We are working hard here, and the more the dojo grows, it just gives like the sparring and everything a lot more robustness, right? Like you can find people to spar with, for example. In fact, let's go look at meetings for a second. Uh-oh. That's not a good look. Where's my meetings, boss? Oh, wait, those are my meetings. I'm going to calendar, excuse me. And then look at this thing, man. Look at this thing. It is getting full, man. People are doing stuff, boss. People are doing things. Look at this. There's me. So people are asking about the admin, and I just have the ability to do, like, let's say, a graduate show. Basically, I want to put the stuff that's on Twitch on here. David and Kostya are doing the same. And then all this other stuff is people put in. We had Albine in yesterday's show. Man, this is beautiful, man. Look at this. Let's just click on one of these. 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. That's my time. Probably this is somebody in Europe, right? Yeah, dude. Okay, 21-22, looking for a 90-30 game, would be open for sparring, rook endgame progression as well, and flexible time-wise. Hey, how about that, dog? How about that? Beautiful. Let's click on somebody else. King Cop. Nice. Look at that. Oh, man. It's coming together. It's coming together. Now, let me just say briefly, let me just praise the whole evolution of this project. At the beginning of the dojo, and to a certain extent still now, we had problems getting people to do the sparring. And it wasn't just sparring, but also like getting together in the cohort to, say, study a book, study the classic games, right? And it was hard. For the longest time, we had the problem of like finding a way technologically for people to organize it. And then this thing that Jack built started off as just a scheduler, right? And then it's morphed into this beautiful site with the scoreboard and the games and all this other stuff. And at first I was like, the games boss, we've been doing that on other sites like Chess.com and everything or wherever, and it's working, man. It's looking pretty good. Yeah, so really pumped. All right, my friends, thank you, Vig Sama. And do your calendars also show as mini events? Mine doesn't. Now, Stan, I think what your calendar might show is, I will raid Renga, sure. Though I need to, I see him. Yeah, I'll raid Renga. You might have to click all cohorts and it might just show your cohort, right? Actually, here's an interesting thing. Let's go all types, take that away, and let's just look, what do we got for endgame sparring? Oh, look at that. What do we got for rook endgame progression? Oh, baby, look at that. Woo! What do we got for analyze classic game? Nice. What do we got? Analyze own game? Nice. Oh, dude. What do we got for book study? Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. Okay, this is great, dude. What do we got for opening sparring? That's right. That's right. Okay, Stan is saying, yeah, but all cohorts, all everything is selected. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so I'm going to raid Renga, friend of the dojo, in the dojo. Renga 87. And I'm going to be back tomorrow doing the cohort show, the grad show of 1,500 plus. We got about 7 or so people. We're going to check it out tomorrow. All right, let's poop. If you haven't checked out the dojo training program, now is the moment, my friends. Poof. Yeah. Check it out. We're doing great. And let's just say, I'm gonna ask Jack about the thing where it's less full. Maybe I'm seeing more than you are. Okay. Will there be an app version? Good question. We are working on it. Thank you so much. All right. Bye, everybody.